Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well today. Today we'll be taking a look at the patriarchs as we discuss how they played a part in Jesus' lineage as we continue our study, The Road to Calvary. Our study will be in the book of Genesis today, and I will do my best to summarize some important themes that we'll study. The purpose of today's study, therefore, should not tell you so much about these men, but more so the God they served and the faith they had. Hopefully, by the time we finish today, you'll be able to see how God can use any situation for His purpose. So who are the patriarchs? They were the fathers of God's chosen people, the Israelites. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who is also called Israel, are considered the big three, though some scholars also include the 12 tribes of Israel as well. Either way, we'll be taking a look at both groups today. Let's start with Abraham. I will not go too in-depth into his life because we already studied his life in our Heroes of the Bible study last year. But in short, Abraham was a man of great faith who started his life as the son of an idol maker, but finished the father of God's people. Abraham was blessed by God to have descendants too numerous to count. He trusted God and he had his son, Isaac. The blessing was then given to Isaac, and he was the father of Esau and Jacob, who were twin brothers. Esau was the older of the two brothers, but through a story I will not spoil today, Jacob receives Esau's blessing and fathers the 12 sons who lead the 12 tribes of Israel. Here, I want to focus in on one son in particular, Joseph. While some of his brothers went on to do other things, Joseph was the 11th of the 12 to be born, and Jacob saw him as his favorite. This partial treatment, followed by a couple dreams Joseph had, made his brothers hate him, and they plotted to kill him. They then settled on selling him to slavery and lying to Jacob about what happened to him. As you can see, these men were far from perfect, and there are some mistakes that I've glossed over with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that I don't want to get into today. But in short, they all messed up in some way. But these were the men that God chose and blessed to be the fathers of His people. These men were far from perfect and had many big screw-ups, but through God's grace, He used them still. And we can see this in Joseph's story. Because he was sold to slavery, Joseph was faithful and he rose through the ranks in Egypt and was put in a position to save the very brothers who wronged him and sold him into slavery in the first place. And this will lead us to the verse of the day found in Genesis 50, verse 20. This is Joseph talking to his brothers. As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today. The story of the patriarchs is this. It doesn't matter the circumstances or past failures and pain that you've had and been through, God can use us to accomplish His purpose. No one's failures can outdo God's grace through faith in Him. We as people tend to focus on the failures of these men, and I think we can learn from it, but we should also follow God's approach and focus on the faith that they had in Him. Thank you for listening today as we did a very brief study as the patriarchs and how they played into Jesus' lineage. We'll get into more of this next week as we discuss the kings of Israel, but I feel like this was a good introduction to the patriarchs. Thank you, have a great day, and God bless you all.